Hello, I've been in this workshop pretty much a year now, and you need that time to go through the seasons and see what things actually work for you. Now, I made these window shutters, so you can see they open to let some light in. Well, that's what shutters do. But what I found is that worked great in the summer when I wanted to control the light. But these darker months, I've been taking them off every time I come out here to film and then putting them back at the end of the day. Well, that's a bit annoying, so I think I'm going to try something else. And what I've got is some of this reflective window film. The idea of this stuff is it adds a slight tint to the window on the inside, like having a pair of sunglasses on them. So when I'm filming, it will reduce the light slightly and just be more controlled. That might not be of interest to most woodworkers, but it'd be great for me. But from the outside, it's got a mirror finish, so no one can see in, which just gives me some privacy when I'm working. Now, I've spent a little extra on this stuff that does a third thing, and it's actually a security film. So if anyone smashes the window, it holds the whole window together in one thing. So I think that's a great safety thing and security thing as well. I've put some frosting on windows before and it's pretty easy to do. But the first thing you need to do is get the glass nice and clean. And because this is covered in sawdust and filthy, I've just got some hot soapy water to get the worst of to start with. With most of the muck off, I can now finish it with some window cleaner and just some paper towel to get it really spotless. Windows are clean, so now I need to cut out the film. So the first job is just to measure the window opening. Oh, this one is square, so that's simple. Then we can roll out this film and I'm going to cut it just with some scissors to about 1 centimetre bigger all the way around. With it cut to size, you need to spray the window so it can slide with either just some water. I'm just going to use a bit more window cleaner because I've got it out here. Then we can get the backing removed from the film. Now we can get it put into place, and because we've got the wet window, we can slide this around until we get it where we want it. What I've got is a plastic dough scraper. I mean, it's just a bit of soft plastic. I use it for when I'm baking bread, and I'm going to use this to get it pushed into the corners and get all the bubbles pushed out of the film. That is all 3 windows with film on, but I've got the excess going around the outside. So I've stuck a fresh blade in my utility knife and I can run that round the corner of the window and trim off all the excess. That's all the windows filmed. I definitely found the first one a bit tricky, but by the time I got to the third, I think I got pretty good at it. So let me take you outside and see if you can actually see me. So I think that's worked really well. I'll have to test it and report back to you in another video, and I will see how it looks at night. But my plan is to put the shutters back up for the security purposes, but just have them down when I'm filming. But I don't want the glaring bright light in summer. So I think this is going to solve that problem. It's also going to give me some privacy when I'm working here during the day. People are not going to be able to see in, and it gives that one bit of extra security. If people smash the glass, it will hold together. So it's about a year since I built the workshop, but it was definitely getting into spring when I kind of had it all fitted out. And I chose these lights because it was quite bright outside. It just needed a little bit of light. But then we got into winter and with having the shutters up and these lights, it was actually dark some days. In the summer, with the shutters down, I didn't need the light. So what I want is consistency. That's the thing with YouTube. So the film on the window is going to help, and I'm going to change these lights. And what I have is some LED strip lights. These things are incredibly lightweight. You could put them up with a bit of sellotape. They weigh nothing, and they're also really low profile, so they won't hang down much from the ceiling. These are 4 foot long and they're 6,000 Kelvin, which is basically daylight balanced. So it's going to be great for filming, hopefully. So first job, I think, get these lights turned off and taken down. These look pretty simple to install. They just come with a couple of brackets that snap on. So I need to get them screwed to the ceiling, and then these should just push into place. Okay, this should now just clip up into place. Ah, yes. Now, I shouldn't have had to be too precise with the bracket placement, because you can then slide it back and forth to tweak the position. So that's one up, but I've got 4 in total, so I'm just going to get 3 more on. That's it, the light's all up. I've got it plugged into the EcoFlow, so let's turn it on. Oh, that's brighter. Ah, it's nice and bright to work in here now, but you can see outside through the window and it doesn't look all blown out. These are kind of filming problems. It's obviously brighter outside, so to expose for the outside and the inside and for them both look right is hard. But having the film on the windows and changing the light in here, I think it's working. Also, I feel I've got more space in here. The bulb's hung down a bit and the ceiling's quite low in here because of permitted development rules. So having these flush mounted lights is great. Now, when I was putting them up, I did think of one thing. I thought I should have bought some little inline switches so I could turn them on and off individually. Because maybe on a bright sunny day when it's really midday sun, I don't want all 4 on. I could turn the 2 end ones off or something. So I have ordered some lights, switches, halfway through the project. So they should come in the next couple of days, and I'll come back and show you what it's like with them. Now, on my mission to save some more space, I've also bought something new. I've got a new table saw stand. Now, I made myself one last year. It was on casters, I could move it around and it worked well. The trouble with it was, underneath was just a shelf and it turned into a dumping ground. There was no organisation under there. And then I'd wheel the whole thing around trying to get it out of the way when I wasn't using it. So I decided if I could have something to pack away, that might work great. So I've got this folding stand. It's a scissor stand, incredibly quick to put together. Then the saw just sits on top and locks into place with a couple of toggle clamps. And when I'm not using it, I've made this incredibly simple thing, just a little wooden hook, and the saw just hooks over onto that. So now it just sits on the back of the bench, end of the bench, and just can move around with it. And the scissor stand can just slip in anywhere, it takes up no room, but I'll probably sort out some hooks on the wall or something for that. I've got to live with that for a bit. So yeah, after a year, there's definitely been a lot of changes to this workshop, and doing all this has actually given me some more ideas. My inline switches have turned up, so I've unplugged everything, obviously, snipped the cables, and now I'm getting them installed so all 4 lights will be individually switchable if I want to. These little switches aren't designed to be mounted to the ceiling, but what I've got is some of these little strips used to put pictures up. Just double-sided sticky tabs really, so I'm going to use those. They should be more than good enough to hold a switch up. There we go, I've got all 4 individually switched. Actually, I think if I turn off this very end one and the same at the other, just have the 2 centre ones, let me do that and come back. I actually think the 2 lights is more than enough for in here on a day like this anyway, but it's nice to have that option if it's a really dark day or I'm working maybe at the drill and I want a bit of extra light, I can stick that on. So I think I'm done with this little update. 3 upgrades to the workshop. Film on the windows gives me more controlled light, more privacy and more security. New lights on the ceiling have actually saved some space, giving me a bit more control, which I hadn't thought of originally, as in I can individually switch them now rather than just having them all on. And it's just nicer to work in here. Maybe not so atmospheric, but I'm going to do some more bits to try and improve that because I kind of enjoy that on the videos. And the table saw just means I can get it out of the way. But doing all this is made me think of other things I can do. So I'm going to work with this maybe for a couple of months, mull over some other changes, and maybe I'll come back to it. So thanks for watching. Thanks to my patrons, and please subscribe for more videos.